morning. It is July the 28th, 2015, and you are joining me for episode 123 of the We Are Yarn podcast. Find you a seat. I actually have a yummy beverage today, and join me for a little bit of knitting talk.
I'm going down to the drugstore, buy a big old skeiny yarn. I'm gonna knit me a kitten, even if you don't give a darn.
Alright, so it is decaf. Just throwing that out there. Thank you so much, guys. My name's Amanda. I'll be your hostess today. Thank you so much for the kind words last week about how cute my belly looks. I really appreciate that. I've gotten that a lot lately. Sunday, when my husband and I were out and about, we went to church and PetSmart and dinner. Sunday dinner in the South is the meal you take after church, right? So, Sunday dinner at the Cracker Barrel. And I had a lot of people tell me that I'd never seen before, don't know these people, tell me how good I looked. And I don't know if that's just something people are saying now, or I don't know. But anyway, thank you for your kind words. I have a couple FOs, a couple of whips, a couple of comments about spinning, and I think that's going to be about it. So let's get this show on the road. Let's talk about things I finished. The first thing I finished this past week was my gratitude shawl. If you'll remember, I was working with some yarn from Moon Holler, and it was a gradient made off of this picture. It's called Hills of Home. So those are the Smoky Mountains you see there. I probably could have gone a couple of more rows, but I was done. And this is how much I have left. I have not weighed it. I probably should. But here it is. And I think stopping it a little bit early looks just fine. It smells divine. I used my Jasmine Eucalyptus wash. I love it. And it's pretty long. So let's see if I stretch it out to my wingspan, and I am 5'3". So that's 63 inches total here. I still have that much hanging off the ends. So it's a pretty long shawl. I think it's going to be really nice. I haven't woven the ends in yet. Funny story. I finished it in the evening last week sometime, and then the next morning, while I was getting ready for work, I thought, I should probably block that. So I put it in my Eucalyptus to soak and promptly forgot about it. None of you have done that, right? You've never left any of your projects soaking for 12 or more hours. I get home from work and I'm laying in the bed that night and remember it. And leap wildly from the bed and run back here to my craft room, which is where we're sitting today. Just a different angle than you're used to. I really wanted a chair and a table. The leaning over stuff is getting difficult. But so I came back here and I was looking at it and I was like, I don't have it, I'm too tired to actually block it out. So what I ended up doing is my lamp that's sitting next to me. It's a tall floor lamp. I hooked one of the points over its little, what do you call it, turn on knob that you turn it on with. And then I have some hooks hanging off of the door. So I reached it from my lamp to the door and just hung it to dry and block. And so this is very loosely blocked. Did not pin it out. And it worked really well. I think all of my really long semicircular non-lacy shawls are going to be done like that in the future. It was great. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen a picture of that, and if you follow the link to this project today, you will see it's my primary picture for this project, is how I blocked it. I also finished another, let's see, let's put this aside. I also finished another of my works in progress. For my birthday this year, my sister-in-law purchased for me some Baby Bee Angel fleece in the soft surf colorway. And she got 2 skeins, and I wasn't real sure. If you remember, it started out as a sweater for baby Isaac, but I was not real sure. I didn't like it. So I ripped it out and I just made a blanket. So here we have, this is how big. It's about 20 by 20, 2 skeins, works up to be, with a size N hook. Oh, I didn't tell you anything about my gratitude shawl other than this shawl is the pattern Gratitude by Deb Anderson. Told you about the yarn. I knitted up on a US 7, and I used my Knitter's Pride Cubics for that. And that is a 4.5 millimeter needle. So this works up 2 skeins of Baby Bee Angel fleece in granite stitch, works up to about a 20 by 20 on an N hook, which is a 9.0 millimeter. I have not woven these ends in either because that's how I roll. Maybe I'll leave them in before the baby actually gets here. I did put little slits in it so that when I'm schlepping the child around on errands in the carrier or in the stroller, it won't slip off and get lost. So, because I foresee that happening if I don't do that. So those are the 2 things I finished. It's been a long time since I've had an FO. It felt really good to get 2 things off the needles. So I turned my attention to things that were on my needles. And they're running around together right now in my new Twist Fiber Studio bag. The first I'm going to tell you about is this cowl, which is called Voices. It's been very recently released by Orange Jellyfish, Sarah Rosh, R-A-A-S-C-H. I decided to use my new Twist Fiber Studio yarn. This is her Lexington base. It sparkles. Can you see the sparkle? Since I've moved from where I usually record, the lighting situation is a little bit different. So, but it's, yeah, you can see some sparkle in there. And it's called Rocket Pop. It's the colorway. Twist Fiber Studio. And I like this base because the stellina, the sparkle, took up the color of the dye. So in the blue areas the sparkle is blue, in the white it's silver, and in the red it's red. I love it. I haven't worked a whole lot on this, but I worked some. I think honestly I've worked the first section incorrectly, but I don't mind. Not at all. I just had this little bit. It's worked in the round. I did, as I usually do, I wonder if you can see, and I may not even go back and sew it up because you can't even tell. I worked a couple of rows flat before I joined in the round. Yeah, and you can't even tell. So just a couple of rows this time, not 3 or 4 like I usually do, and that just makes it easier for me to join in the round. when I have a little bit more and I can lay it out on the table and see that it's not twisted, it's just easier for me. And like I said, I could hardly even tell that I had done that, so I'll probably not even go back. I usually go back and seam it right there where I join it. I probably won't even do that this time. So this represents maybe an hour of work. One day I sat back here and an older show, it's not old, but the show Merlin, they have on Netflix. It's not a BBC show, but it is British. I really enjoy watching it. I'm watching it for the second time now. So I watched some Merlin while I worked on that. I have not written anything down about it. I'm using 7s for that as well, it looks like. Do I have? Yeah, 4.5. These are older, and I must not have gotten cubics. That's all I've been using lately. And I must not have gotten, whenever I get a new set of cubics, I'll go back and use some clear fingernail polish over the sizing, because the only place the sizing is it's stamped onto the needle. Yeah, these are even fixed. These are fixed, so yeah. But I never did do that, so it has to, that's probably why I have kept it with its little thing it came with, so I know what it is. So we've talked about voices. I decided, last time I had realized that if I'm going to make this child a baby blanket that's going to be all cute and pretty for newborn pictures, I should probably get on doing that. And I'm about tired of being pregnant, guys, let me tell you. It has worn me down. I don't like not feeling like myself, and I do not feel like myself at all. So, on one hand, I want the baby to come early, but on the other hand, I don't want the baby to come early because I need to finish this blanket. I am almost, you can see how much I have left of the last little ball, the first little ball there. So I've almost done one ball, and the yarn is from Appalachian Baby Design. It is U.S. organic cotton. You get 194 yards per ball, and it is heavenly cotton. I'm very much enjoying it. It's so soft, not hard on the hands at all. And this is how far I've gotten. Last week I said that I had started it, or last couple weeks ago I'd said I had started it. But I was a little confused if I was doing that special stitch correctly. And I had not yet gone to Google to ask Google about it. Well, one of my lovely viewers did that for me and said that she very easily found some YouTube videos on that special stitch. So, of course, I went and looked that up. The first video that came up was a woman who was making this blanket, so it was very helpful. I was doing it correctly, and it did give me more confidence, and I think that confidence really helped me start rolling through this project. So let's see, I've told you about the yarn. I am, again, size 7, 4.5 millimeter cubics. It's the only way I'm rolling these days. And like I said, that's one ball. I have 5. I had intended to look at my little pattern. The pattern is Soft Baby Blanket, also published by the Appalachian Baby Design. You will be able to I will be linking to all my projects in my show notes at weareyarn.com and on the Ravelry group. I meant to look to see pattern. So I get to knit for 36 inches. We'll have 23.5 textured diamond outlines. 23.5. So let's just say 23. Well, yeah. 1, 2, 3. So one ball of yarn gotten 3.5. I think I'll probably get 4 outlines. 4 times 5 is only 20. I think I'm going to need to call the shop this came from and see if I can't get another ball of yarn. I don't know if my gauge is bigger I'm using than the ladies that made this originally. I should probably measure that. Do I have them? This is your favorite thing, isn't it, when podcasters do things like measure their gauge on air? I know it is. It's my favorite thing. It reminds me that even the podcasters are human. We're all human. And I don't have... Let me get my little thing to measure my gauge. Alright, so here's my handy dandy row gauge counter. 4.5 stitches should be 1 inch. So this will give me stitches per inch. Good. Let's turn it over. I'm going to do the stockinette side just because that'll be easier. 4.5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I run into the special stitch before 4.5 gets done. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Gives me right at 10 stitches per inch. What? Oh, well, I am confused. I'm confused, guys. Oh, wait. Set point at 10 stitches. Okay. Use your tools correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, okay, I'm measuring 4.5 inches. Now that I can count to 10. I'm gonna need another ball. There's no good getting around it. We're just gonna go ahead and do it. Get a new ball. Did you enjoy that? Let's talk about some spinning, shall we? Now that we've established that my gauge is on track, but it still seems huge. I'm going to slide that back down in the bag with my voices so that I have options when I'm out and about today. So this month, the month of July, Tour de Fleece took place. The last day was the 26th. I did join Team Caffeinated, and I did not put in a very good showing this year, but I have other things going on in my life. The first thing I completed, and these all, both of these will get me a point each for the Into the Wool Spotlight knit along, and for my team, and plus I used bags that would also get me a point. I have kitties now that are really enjoying chewing on my fiber. They've never done this before. I don't know what the deal is. So I'm having to hide my fiber as I'm spinning it. So I used some bags. First one that I spun was from the color wheel. So guys, this is vintage. She is no longer dyeing fiber. But Amanda, if you are watching, if you ever entertain the notion to start dyeing fiber again, I won't complain. Even though it's been sitting in my stash for ages, this is just a super fine merino, not super wash. It still spun so lovely. Her handling of the fiber was really nice. So I split this one down the middle into 8 bits, so lengthwise into, can you hear my cats just carrying on? I tore it lengthwise into 8 bits and spun all those end to end, and then I chain plied. So this is what it looks like here. And when we undo it, I love how it turned out. I had no particular interest in maintaining the color integrity because they were such short repeats. I really wanted it to do a lot of barber pulling and playing with itself. So I'm really tickled with how it came out. I have no idea what my yardage is. None at all. The one thing about that style of spinning though, let me see if I can find one. When my, I do have quite a bit, you can see in here where it came up kind of tonal, semi-solid. But there is quite a bit where it all barber pulled as well. And the only thing with it is if this is something that kind of annoys you, you can see right here when my camera decides to switch to, yeah, you can see how the two colors, it's just like a very sudden change right there where I made my, what's that called? Where I made my loop for the chain, made my new chain link. So if that sudden color change is not something you're going for, maybe that's not the kind of thing you want to do with your short repeated fiber. It may be that you would rather go the other direction I went with the other braid that I spun for Tour de Fleece this year. That all, I'm horrible at skeins up my yarn. Horrible at it. The other I used, so if the quick color repeats are not something you like, you probably want to go for something more like I did with this. This is an Unwind yarn company, and she really likes her fibers, and her yarns are kind of speckled odd, not really speckled odd, but I don't know. Dana, what do you call it? She, they're very short color repeats though. Very, not big long sections of color, but real short little bits. This is Sanibel Stoop. And I just ripped it in the middle and two-plot it. Spun each end, spun each section and two-plot it. I think I did end up splitting it down the middle as well after I yanked it apart, just to make the spinning go a little bit easier for me. That's the braid really, or the roving really just wanted to come apart in the middle, so I let it. And this is how that ended up. So it's just two-plot. When I was looking at pictures of it spun like this on Ravelry, I was a little disappointed because there is all the blue, but then it seemed like all the other colors really just kind of turned into brown. And there are a few spots where it did kind of muddy up into a brown, but there still are sections. I don't know how well you can see that there. Come on, camera. Oh, yes. So, you can see the main color standing out is still blue, but and you see a spot of brown here and there, but most of it, you know, it's still very obviously purple or very obviously yellow, very obviously green. So I am delighted with how it turned out, much better than I even expected. Both of these skeins I spun, I wouldn't call it long draw, where I just, you know, would let all the twist pull back and draft against the pressure of the wheel. I didn't really do that. Here lately what I've been doing for these merinos, this is one of Dana's merino Tessa silk blends. This is a super fine merino. Those fibers, the shorter fibers, aren't really made to be spun that way. You can. I'm not saying you can't. You can totally do it. But the way I was doing it was just letting the twist run up into the roving and kind of controlling how much roving I was letting into the twist. And then I used my left hand with my right hand. And I used my left hand to kind of pull that twist and fiber away from each other. Kind of that sort of way. Okay. This one, my color wheel turned out surprisingly dense. I would almost say because, and I tried really hard, like I said last time with my Twist Fiber Studio, I find a lot of times I don't put as much twist as I would like to into my yarn. So when I've been sitting down to ply, I've really been focusing on making sure I'll knock my wheel up another 1 ratio up from what I had been doing, so it'll be spinning much faster for the singles. So he's spinning much faster. I already tend to, I'm getting out of breath, all this talking. I already tend to treadle really quickly when I'm plying. So I've been trying to do things, like I said, to get a little bit of a tighter ply. This one's tight enough, even though it's just merino. Man, it'd almost make a nice pair of socks. It's that dense. This didn't come out that dense, and that's what surprises me, because I spun them, except for the 2-ply, I spun them exactly the same. You know, end ply or chain ply versus 2-ply is my only difference. But this turned out, you can see some spots in there, if my camera will realize that it's, there we go. It just poofed right up. And both of these skeins I soaked in my jasmine eucalyptus as well. And I used my new salad spinner to spin out the water, spin the water out of them. So yeah, I may not have spun, I wanted to spin 16 ounces for the tour, but I didn't spin every day. And I only got to these 8 ounces, so I only reached half my goal, but that's okay with me. I still feel like I participated, and I'm still pleased with the outcome. So, do you guys think, with all the purple in this, do you think it's too girly for a boys something or other? Baby boy something? Is it too girly? I think it may be, because look, that looks like a shock of hot pink right there. I think it may be. So, that's all of my finished objects in my whips. That's all I've been doing. Another thing I did, and my husband and my friends are trying to tell me I'm nesting, and what I'm really doing is just, my house is a little bit of a wreck because I haven't been able to clean much with my pregnancy. And I don't know what's happened to me. Mama, what has happened to me? I have not always been a clean freak at all. But it seems like with age, I have begun developing an appreciation for the ability to relax in a clean, well-kept room or house or whatever. And before I was pregnant, I would spend not a whole lot of time every day, usually just one day a week, but a big chunk of my day getting my house clean. And I took pride in that. And I've not been able to do that. And my mother-in-law recognizes that that's something that's important to me and has offered to have, like a Mary Maid service or something, come in and really deep clean my house before the baby comes so that I feel good and relaxed in my home. Even though I won't be, because I'll have a newborn. So you got to get ready for people to come clean, right? You got to have all your messes cleaned up so that they can clean. So I've started working on that. And one of my messes that I had in my craft room that's been bugging me for years, but I didn't know what to do about it, was a pile of shawls. And the one poncho you see behind me here, all of them are crocheted. All of them are out of worsted weight or bigger acrylic, which is okay. These were all made kind of towards the beginning of my crafting ventures, and I love them all for different reasons. But I had them in a pile. I didn't want to give them away. Being very hoardy about the situation, if you could say. I'm hoarding them. And I finally had the realization that I had nothing on my walls. This wasn't even hanging on my wall. That's a puzzle that I did with cats getting into trouble with yarn. And I decided one day this weekend that I needed to do something about this pile of shawls, and nothing was hanging on my walls, so I just bought some push pins because I didn't have any. And now all of my earlier works are hanging up on the wall in my craft room where I can see them, and I really like it. This one you see right here is a poncho. It's the coming home poncho that you guys remember when Martha Stewart was in the jail. When she got out of the jail and was going home, I think a fan of hers that was also in the jail with her had created a poncho for her. It was gray and became wildly popular. You can find the pattern. The pattern has been emulated on Line Brand, which is where I got that pattern. The yarn is Line Brand Homespun, just in a red. And I wore it once, and I did not feel very confident in it, so I never wore it again. But I didn't want to get rid of it. It represents a lot of work. And I think it looks right nice hanging on that wall. I don't know much else to say, though. That's pretty much my crafty endeavors. I'll show you my belly, but I can guarantee you it hasn't changed much in the last 2 weeks. We'll do that next time. Until then, though, I hope all of your crafting goes as you plan it. I hope that your knitting time is relaxing, and any of your crafting time brings you joy and not frustrations. And I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye, guys.
I just can't wait to finish. I got the kitten knitting blues. No, I just can't wait to finish. That's why I got those kitten knitting blues.